Mr. Speaker, Manitobans understand that there is an immense difference between 12,000, the number of childcare spaces actually needed in the province, and 2,000, the number by which that need grows each year. 2,000 is the only number of spaces the Premier and his NDP government have committed to each year, but it is not enough because the wait list just gets longer. People in Manitoba keep hoping for a solution to the long waits, but it is a solution which never comes under the NDP. Why has the Premier not committed to provide our families the actual level of child care that they need?
Mr. Speaker, we've added 14,000 child care spaces. We call them early childhood learning spaces. We've built a record number of daycares. Every new school in Manitoba has a daycare put in. Existing schools, we're renovating them, adding daycares into those schools. We've committed to 12,000 more. The members of the opposition have voted against that consistently. Every time we brought in a budget for more daycare spaces, they voted against that. The member from River Heights is not supporting that as well. We brought in a pension plan for daycare workers, second pension plan in the country, to acknowledge mostly women that work in the daycare field for the dedication and service they provide. We've made sure that fees stay reasonable. We've made sure that the quality has improved, Mr. Speaker, and those things are going to be put at risk when the opposition party, the Conservatives, say they're going to privatize daycare in Manitoba. What will that mean for Manitobans, Mr. Speaker? That will mean lower quality daycare. That will mean higher fees. That will mean greater instability as daycares open and close on a more frequent basis. And it will mean lower wages and support and probably no pension plan for the daycare workers, Mr. Speaker. That is not a way forward. That is a way backward, when in the 90s they actually cut daycare spots in Manitoba, Mr. Speaker. That is not progress. That's backwards and not looking forward, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Manitoba Liberals believe in affordable and self-sustaining daycare and early childhood education for all Manitobans. Manitobans cannot understand how this NDP government can think announcing that they will merely continue meeting only 17% of what the province actually needs is something to be proud of. Will the NDP continue their navel-gazing approach to maintaining the status quo, or will they commit to actually providing the number of daycare spaces Manitoba families need, as Liberals will do?
Mr. Speaker, the political party that the member from River Heights represents at the provincial level, their top promise: get rid of over $400 million of revenues from the health and education levy.
Shame.
That's less money for health care.
Shame.
That's less money for education.
Shame.
That's less daycare spots.
Shame.
That's less daycare workers.
Shame.
That's higher fees. That's longer waiting lists, Mr. Speaker. That will not move us forward. Privatizing liquor and lotteries, Mr. Speaker, that will just wipe out good jobs. People that are in the workforce paying taxes, Mr. Speaker. That won't help. That will reduce the revenues to the Treasury, Mr. Speaker, that we see now, where we take 2% of that and put it back into social responsibility. The Liberal Party is going to create a world of greater misery for people, Mr. Speaker. Daycare is not part of that vision. They don't have the money to do it. They don't have the program to do it. I challenge him to support this political party and its strong vision for daycare in Manitoba, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Liberals are setting their own policies, not the misguided, misspoken distortions of the Premier. Mr. Speaker, it's a disturbing absence of logic rampant in the NDP government to believe that making Manitoba parents wait for up to 2 years to access the childcare spaces they need is somehow benefiting our economy. These hard-working Manitobans are being prevented from going back to work, from sustaining their own families, because the Premier has spent 16 and a half years in 17% solutions which are never enough to meet the growing need. Why is the Premier continuing to fail Manitoba families' need to simply renewing, as he's doing, his same old commitments?
Mr. Speaker, we've added daycare training spots at Red River College, the Université de Saint Boniface. We've added over 100 new daycare builds in Manitoba in terms of facilities. No longer are they in the church basements or the halls where they were before, the dank basements. They're now in brand new facilities in schools. They're freestanding new daycares, Mr. Speaker. All of that has been done while the member from River Heights has consistently voted against it in every single budget. We've now made a commitment over the next 7 years to add 12,000 spots, to do it in partnership with communities, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we have higher wages, to ensure that there's pensions for the workers, lower fees for parents, Mr. Speaker, and quality early childhood learning opportunities that prepare young people for education, school, and success in life. It's part of our plan, along with early childhood development and prevention and smaller class sizes and career opportunities, to make sure young people in Manitoba have a bright future, Mr. Speaker. And again, I invite the member from River Heights to abandon the policy of the Liberal Party of privatizing liquor jobs, taking revenue out of the Treasury, and getting rid of the health and education levy. Over $400 million of revenue will disappear. There will be no money for daycare, Mr. Speaker. Come and join us for a better Manitoba, Mr. Speaker.